In the previous video, we looked at how to generate a flow accumulation map. Once you've got that information, then you can start to compare it to some other data sets and then look at cross sections across to your landscape to see where there might be a good case for something like a river restoration scheme. So one of the things that we can do is to add the detailed river network. And you can start to see where your flow accumulation might actually deviate from the locations that the water has been put artificially. In this case, it looks like a lot of the accumulation is going down this main stem here, but there's a lot of artificial drainage being put in. Around here, it looks like there might be a more natural flow, so that might be somewhere that you might want to look at in a bit more detail. It also seems like this is quite an artificial place for the river. It looks like there's a lot of accumulation happening down in the valley bottom. So what we're going to do next is to create a cross section just to get a little bit more information about what's going on in here. So you can create a new feature data set like I've done here in your geodatabase, just to hold all of your cross sections that you're going to create. That's up to you, you don't have to do that. But in that folder, I'm going to create a new feature class. And I'm going to call this cross section BB. To choose a line feature here. And I just want to check that it's in British National Grid, and it is, so I'll finish there. So if we add that new feature to our map, then we can create the line. So I'm quite interested in what's going on around here. So I'm just going to take a cross section along the valley bottom and see what it looks like. So I'm happy with where that cross section is. It covers the whole of the valley bottom. So I'll go ahead and save it. Now, getting an elevation profile in ArcPro is a bit of a faff. So in ArcMap, it's pretty easy to just get an elevation profile from this cross section. But what we need to do in Pro is to use a tool called Stack Profile. And that allows us to input our cross section and compare it to our surface raster. Now I'm going to choose our original DTM rather than the filled DTM here, because we want to look at the most accurate data rather than the filled DTM, which is the one that we use to generate a nice flow accumulation map. But the DTM is the accurate version with all of the lumps and bumps and depressions, so that's the one that you want to choose there. Okay, so that will create a table, which we then have to export to Excel so we can have a look and create a graph. So we'll select our stack profile graph, and it's saving it. I want it to save in my cross sections folder that I've created in here, and we want to call it BB stack profile. Okay, that's running. looks like it's created it in there. So we can open that up. That's the previous one. Okay, in here we've got the elevation data across all the points in our cross section. So this is the height data. So we can go and create a line graph from there. And we also want on the horizontal, we want the number of meters along our cross section. Okay, you might just want to reduce the number of decimal points to make it a bit more readable. Okay, so here we have the elevation profile across our cross section from this side to this side. This is where the river is at the moment. This is the main channel. This one's also in the detailed river network, but it looks like it's a sort of secondary drain rather than the main channel. However, when you look at the data, that's actually lower than where the river's been put. And it looks like there's also quite a high bank, an artificial bank, holding that river into where it's been pinned. So that's quite an interesting cross-section that might help you to build some evidence for saying that where the river is at the moment is artificially high, and maybe there's some more natural places in that valley bottom for it to go. Now it is very faffy to do that in Arc Pro. There is a tool called Profile, which is a ready-to-use tool that takes out the need to use Excel at all. The problem with the Profile tool is that you can input your cross-section, but then the DEM that it uses is one of the ones that they host, and the resolution is very, very low. So you don't actually have an option to input your surface raster in here, which means that the output that you're going to get is very rough. I generated one earlier just to show you, so it's here. So that's the output that you get, which really isn't very detailed and not enough to show you where old channels might be. Okay, so that's how you would start to look at cross sections and see where your paleo channels or secondary channels that maybe should be primary channels are in your landscape. Thank you very much.